Our first guest, you know him well, Greg Pruitt, Idaho Second Amendment Alliance. He wants folks to have the ability to protect themselves. Greg took it upon himself to go out with friends on Facebook and everywhere else and get a petition drive. To allow, the freedom for you to carry without having a concealed carry permit. Not one elected official would take his bill before the legislature. Boo. Come on, you're on the radio, louder, boo. I was amazed, I was shocked, I was stunned. So we're going to hear from Greg in a minute. And here's another thing. How many of you read Guns and Ammo magazine? You ever heard of it? Yeah. So I'm sure you've heard the rank. What is it? We're 27? 32. Who needs facts when we're on the radio? Well, we need to get better. And how are we going to do that? Through you. So a big round of applause for our great friend Greg Pruitt, the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance.
We really do appreciate all that Kevin's done for us. He's done a lot for our state and for the Second Amendment. And even though the session's over, he's still out here promoting the Second Amendment and keeping us all actively engaged, and that's what we need in our state. So, big round of applause and thank you. So Kevin asked, how did the Idaho legislature do? And we all booed because we know that they failed miserably. They get a big fat F overall for the effort that they put in to protect the Second Amendment. At a time when the Obama administration was doing everything they can to take away our right to keep and bear arms, our legislators did nothing. Absolutely nothing. It is absolutely appalling that in a state like Idaho, we can't even get anything put into the legislators that's meaningful. And so we're here today to give our report card. Again, my name is Greg Pruitt. I'm the president of the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance. We're a grassroots group, Idaho-based. We're not any affiliate of any other national organization. So they failed. There was a couple legislators who did a pretty good job in the House. Judy Boyle, we want to give her a lot of thanks for the efforts that she put in. And Jason Monks also put his neck out on the line at the very end there to try and push some legislation through and get past the Senate, who was a big roadblock to success in our state. So we got all these petitions. We sent them around, 2,800 signatures, 3,000 somewhere in there. Me, my good friend Seth Rosequist, we went out in the freezing cold in January. We stood outside Boise Gun Company, who we want to thank for helping us out, and we got signatures. About a dozen of us were able to get all those signatures. And we took those to the legislatures, and they said, yeah, we really don't want to do that. You know, we're afraid of what the Idaho Sheriff's Association is going to say. We're afraid of what the Idaho police are going to say about it. You know, this is Idaho. We really can't do this kind of thing here. I said, listen to yourselves. This is Idaho. If we can't do it here, who else is going to be able to do it? So we really got to get rid of a lot of these people. We got to do some house cleaning. We got to do some So they killed constitutional carry before he even had a chance. They wouldn't even put it into a committee to just talk about it. They wouldn't do it. And then we had House Bill 219. One of the biggest issues that Idaho citizens wanted to see was our protection from the federal government, from the Obama administration, and any kind of law that they were going to pass through either Congress or through executive order. We wanted to see our state step up and say, you know what, you pass that garbage here, it ain't going to fly. They failed. They waited until the very last minute, the Senate did. They said, oh, I'm sorry, we ran out of time. Well, their time has run out. It's time for them to go. So what did they pass? Judy Boyle was able to get House Bill 183 passed through. Okay, we supported that bill. That was a bill basically that said cities do not have the right to regulate concealed carry permits. There was a conflicting law that was deep within the Idaho regulations. They were able to weed that law out. Okay, that's great. We support that. And then they passed House Bill 192. Most of you probably know it as the Enhanced Carry Permit. This is a bill that we initially came out and supported, and after some long discussions and discussions with our supporters, we actually came out in opposition to the Enhanced Carry Permit. I'll tell you why. We We believe you have a God-given right to defend your family. You shouldn't have to get a permit from the government in order to do so. We believe the current permit is an infringement on that right. So the enhanced permit is basically an enhanced infringement on your right. Okay? Yes, you're going to have more reciprocity, and that was their big sell. They knew they could get a lot of people to support it with that. Our concern is they'll get this enhanced carry permit in, which requires you to go through 3 separate NRA courses. And don't get me wrong, our group is very pro-training. You should do as much as you possibly can. It's just not the governor's right. It's not the state legislator's right. It's not the sheriff's right or the police's right to tell you what you have to do in order to defend your family. So what are we going to do? They got this enhanced carry permit. It's law. It's been signed by the governor. They said, oh, well, it's optional. You'll have just a regular permit that's less infringing. How long will that last? 1, 2 years? Before they say in the name of money or in the name of redundancy, we just need to get rid of this other permit. And then it's over, okay? Now you've really got to jump through a whole bunch of things just to carry your firearm with your shirt covering it. It's ridiculous. And so what are we going to do with the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, and hopefully with a lot of you citizens? We're going to keep our petition going. But we need help, okay? 12 people cannot do all of the work. We need a lot more people to step up their game and help us out. Danielle Wren, she was a good friend of ours. She also helped us out. But we need you guys to take this petition, and I brought 100 of them here. So every single person in here, hopefully, can take a copy, make more copies of it, and all the way until January, we're going to just flood all these petitions into us. And so we can go back to the legislatures during the next session and say, here's 10,000, here's 20,000, 30,000, whatever we can get. And we're going to give a copy to every single legislator and say, you make this happen. You give this bill its day in court, or you're done. And we're going to tell every single one of them that. So that's our goal with the petition. We've got to keep it going. We have an electronic version as well. So if people can't get to sign the paper copy, we have an electronic version that they can sign. Okay? You need to call all your legislators. Especially, you want to wait until it's about time for the session to go in, or right at the beginning. And you need to call every single one of them, both your House reps and your state rep. And you need to tell them, hey, look, if you don't put constitutional carry in, if you don't put an improved stand your ground law in, I'm not going to vote for you. You're done. I don't care if they're on the State Affairs Committee that hears these bills. I don't care if Judy Boyle is the contact for Second Amendment. Your legislators need to know, hey, I got like 50 people calling me, telling me to get my butt over here and talk to you. What's the deal, okay? They need to be involved. They need to be fearful of us, and that's the problem we have in this state right now. Our legislators do not fear us. They don't fear our votes. You'll hear all sorts of good stuff next year about, I'm a pro-Second Amendment legislature. Okay? I heard it. I heard it the entire time during this last session, and nobody put their money where their mouth was, except minus the few that I mentioned. So it's time to send them a message. And then we're also going to hold a rally sometime in January at the very beginning of the session. And we'll announce the date 5-6 months in advance, because we want people to not have an excuse about saving them money or not being able to get off work, because you'll have 5 months to take the day off. And we're saying take the day off because we're not going to do it on a Saturday. We want 2,000, 3,000 gun-carrying people in the Idaho House while they're in session. They need to know we are serious about this. And we can't do it on Saturdays because they're not there. All right? So we're going to show up during the day, and we're going to ask them to take time out of their day to sit down with their constituents and hear what they have to say about Second Amendment legislation. And we'll stay there all day if we have to. But that's our plan for a big rally in January when they start the session. We'll hope you guys will all be there. There you go. So, my message to the opposition is, we ran into some opposition as we were doing constitutional carry. And some of the associations were opposed to our bill. We actually found that a lot of law enforcement officers, the guys who are out doing all the work, did not necessarily oppose our legislation, so let me make that very clear. But I had a guy, he was a firearms instructor. And we had a lot of opposition from firearms instructors who were afraid that they were going to lose some of their money that they were getting from firearms classes if we got constitutional carry through. And I actually had a guy, God bless his heart, I guess, he was brave enough to tell me that flat out that he was going to lose money if he did. And I said, sir, I don't give a damn about your money. I care about my freedom. I'm sorry. My question to law enforcement, to gun stores, we have some opposition from gun stores for the same reasons. What side do you want to stand on? Are you going to stand on the side of freedom and all those people who deserve their God-given right to defend themselves without your intervention? Are you going to stand on that side, or is special interest, or is money more important to you? You have to make a decision now, because we're coming, and we're coming hard, and we're not going to give up until we get all of you guys your freedom to carry your firearm without having concealed weapons permit, because it's your God-given right to defend yourself. Yeah! So again, we need you guys to be involved. They told me after House Bill 219 died, well, after the Senator Feinstein's bill died, well, it's dead, we don't really need to worry about this anymore. We don't really need to worry about 219. I said, what in the hell are you talking about? Did you forget who the President of the United States is? Have you been listening to anything that's going on? We can't give up. We can't give up until he's gone. He's going to keep going over and over and over again. They're already talking about new executive orders, so you guys got to stay on the game. You got to stay involved. You got to stay as part of the process. My message to the President Obama and any other Republican, Democrat, state legislator, governor who's going to stand in the way and try and take our firearms, Molam Labe.